There are some places where death is so prevalent that it lingers after the living have moved out. Some locations are so saturated with despair, grief, and torment that even after the door is closed, the energy remains. Some buildings seem to be cursed, doomed to forever hold the echoes of their former occupants, both living and dead. Today, we're going to look at a few of these locations, and if you like what we do, don't forget to subscribe for more stories about the afterlife. First, we will visit Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia. Built in 1829, this prison was meant to be a model institution for the country, an exemplar of how prisoners could be reformed through solitude. But it quickly gained a reputation for being one of the most brutal prisons in America. It wasn't designed with modern security in mind and over the years became overcrowded. Inmates had to sleep while standing up, and violence and riots were frequent. Inmates were kept in complete solitary confinement for months on end, with only their beds and a hole for a toilet. Prisoners went insane and died from neglect. The facility was officially closed in 1964, and today it stands as a shell of its former self, attracting tourists who want to explore its dark history. The prison was built on top of an ancient Native American burial ground, and some believe that this may have something to do with the number of ghosts that reportedly linger there. When touring the prison, visitors often report feeling cold spots and hearing unexplained noises, especially in cell block 12. This area was used for solitary confinement and torture. If you walk down the center aisle of the cell block, you can reportedly hear voices screaming and whispering. Sometimes the disembodied voices get louder, even sounding like screams and shouts. These sounds have been recorded on several occasions by paranormal investigators. The audio recordings reveal a cacophony of strange noises, including knocks, screams, footsteps, and even the sound of someone dragging themselves along the floor. There are also some particularly active cells here. For example, cell 13 is known for shaking and moving objects within it, while cell 22 supposedly belonged to a man who cut his own throat after killing his cellmate, and you can sometimes see his ghost dragging himself along the floor. One of the worst cases of hauntings occurs in cell 34, which has a reputation for being very cold. When paranormal investigators have stayed overnight in the cell, they reported having their hair pulled and scratched, as well as blankets thrown over them. They also reported seeing the ghost of a woman who appears in the mirror but then disappears when you turn around. It is said that she died of a broken heart after her lover killed himself in the same cell. One of the most harrowing areas of the prison is the dungeon. This is a pitch-black, windowless room where prisoners were kept in solitary confinement. It was also used as a punishment for bad behavior. Inmates would be locked in here without food or water for days on end. Those who spent time in the dungeon rarely came out mentally unscathed. Many emerged delirious and needing medical attention. Even today, anyone who spends time in the dungeon reports feeling claustrophobic and insane, as if they're losing their mind. The oppressive atmosphere is almost tangible, and the psychological impact of the space is difficult to escape. While in the dungeon, you can hear rats scurrying around. This is because the dungeon was used to house rats for pest control purposes. The prison staff would feed the rats human remains and then release them into the prison to keep the rodent population under control. Today, these rats live on in the walls, and many people have reported hearing them skittering around inside the masonry. The dungeon is also home to one of the scariest ghosts in the prison. His name was John. He was an inmate in the 1940s, and he was known for his sadistic behavior. He would attack other inmates and guards alike, showing no remorse for his actions. It was decided that he should be locked in solitary confinement for the rest of his life. And so he was sent to the dungeon. Soon after he arrived, he began talking to the walls as if someone was on the other side listening to him. Then he began to scream and shout at the empty space. This continued until he died. To this day, you can still hear him screaming and ranting in the dungeon. Another location at Eastern State Penitentiary with a lot of paranormal activity is the Rotunda. This was the main cell block in the prison, and it's also where the warden's office was located. The rotunda was designed to be round so that no inmate could hide in a corner and the guards could easily see everything that was going on. However, the circular shape made it difficult to keep the space clean, and the smell of stale urine and waste quickly permeated the building. During the prison's operation, it was known as one of the most horrific places in the prison. The guards were able to watch all the inmates but were unable to stop the rampant violence. If a fight broke out, they would have to stand by and watch as the inmates beat each other up. Inmates would be locked up for days and weeks at a time, forced to stand up while sleeping and without any sanitation. The rotunda is now an open space filled with exhibits about the prison's history. But even during the day, visitors report feeling uneasy in the area. Some even report feeling physical symptoms like headaches and nausea. At night, the energy in the rotunda becomes even more oppressive, and those who stay behind after the museum closes report hearing screams and footsteps echoing around them. The most common ghost seen in the rotunda is that of a young boy who is said to be the son of one of the prison's former wardens. The story goes that the warden had an affair with a servant girl, and when she became pregnant, he helped her give birth to the baby boy. Then he smuggled the child into the prison so that he could be with him. However, the guards eventually found out about the secret and took the baby away from the warden, never to be seen again. Some say that the boy was killed, while others say he was put up for adoption. Either way, his spirit is said to haunt the rotunda, looking for his father. Finally, we come to the chapel at Eastern State Penitentiary. This was supposed to be a place of peace and quiet where inmates could reflect on their lives and turn away from their sinful ways. However, it quickly became just another place of torment and suffering. The chapel was used to store supplies and the bodies of executed prisoners. It was also the site of several violent incidents, including a riot that left several inmates dead. Today, the chapel is gone, and in its place is a visitor center. But the evil energy that once pervaded the space remains. Many people have reported feeling overwhelmed with sadness and despair when visiting the site of the former chapel. Some even report hearing whispers and prayers echoing around them. There are also strange shadows and apparitions that appear in photographs taken at the site. Many of these images cannot be explained, and some suggest they may be the spirits of the prisoners who died in the chapel seeking peace. As you can see, Eastern State Penitentiary is a place filled with a lot of pain and suffering. The prison was designed to be a place of reform, but instead became a symbol of cruelty and oppression. The stories of the ghosts who haunt the prison are a reminder of the terrible things that happened there, and they serve as a warning to those who would try to repeat the mistakes of the past. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our other content where we explore similar topics. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates. Thanks for watching.